All right, so we're on to that interesting piece of information that I promised you this morning. This morning, we are joined with Dr. Rita Pemberton. She is the chairman for the cabinet-appointed committee for statues, monuments, and signage. She is a renowned author, historian, author, lecturer, former head of the Department of History at the UWI St. Augustine campus, former chairman of COSTAT. So we have a lot of accolades there, right? So good morning to Dr. Pemberton.
Good morning to you too. And good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, Dr. Pemberton. And of course, you see a smiling face right next to her. We are joined with also a committee member, Lawrence Arjoon. Good morning to you, Mr. Arjoon.
Good morning, Tobago.
All right, so we are here to discuss that big topic I would have mentioned this morning. It has been advertised a few times this morning. So we are going to discuss a little bit about the public consultation you all are about to have this afternoon from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Scarborough Library, the AV room, right? So for those of you viewing, here is the information that you would need to attend such event. It's promised to be very informational towards them and towards the public themselves as well, right? So we are here with you both. Now, the first question before we get into the nitty-gritty of the entire conversation itself is to just point out some of the responsibilities that your committee has. So what are some of the responsibilities of this cabinet-appointed committee?
We have been charged with responsibility for reviewing the placement of statues, monuments, signage in public spaces in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. And who are the members that make up the committee?
The committee is made up of, well, I'm the chair. Mr. Arjoon is a member. Dr. Oh Lord, I always go by calling her Dr. Eastland Mackenzie. I was going to call her what we call her all the time. Sorry. Right? Then we have Miss Zaida Ramnath, retired permanent secretary, chief permanent secretary for the country. We have Mr. Kobe Sandy, he's a youth officer in the Ministry of Youth. We also have Chief Ricardo Barrett from the Santa Rosa Peoples. And we have Miss Annalene Innes, who is the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Local Government. And what's the rest of the title? Ministry of Local Government, right? We left out somebody.
No, that's the committee.
That's the committee?
Yes, that is the committee. She got it and she didn't even know.
We've had so many people helping us
right.
on this project.
Oh, I know it's what. Because I was thinking of the research assistants, research support staff that we have, who's works closely with us.
And she proves to be a functioning chairman because, I mean, she remembers all names on the committee. And as you said, they've been a very great help toward the aims that you all have put forward. Yes? So this committee was established in 2022. I stand to be corrected if I have to be. Yes, I read up a few things. Yes. So in 2022, you've been established and now you are visiting Tobago to have a public consultation. So what exactly is the aim of this public consultation to be had this afternoon?
Sure. So the whole purpose for the work of the committee is to get the views of the people of Trinidad and Tobago in what do we as a people want to see represented when it comes to statues, when it comes to monuments, when it comes to signs. What is the criteria we want for that? Who do we think should be recognized? How should it be done? Who should be involved in the process? What we want is representative views, so that when we present a policy, it reflects as widely and as much as possible what the people want to see. So we started in 2002. We would have met with over 50 different stakeholder groups across Trinidad and across Tobago. These have been in-depth discussions with them, with people who are doing the work on the ground, people who have been making recommendations over the years for statues, for monuments, for signs, people who currently manage the placement of signs and the processes, to understand what processes are in place, to really get the views of the work that has been done. But of course, part of that is including the wider public as well, and including the views that the wider public has. So we would have had a public consultation in Trinidad. Now we have the public consultation in Tobago. And we also have opportunities for people to provide written feedback, written submissions on the process. There's an online form that is available that people can go and fill in, or they can drop off or mail in hard copies. In Tobago, we're collecting hard copies at the Division of Tourism, Antiquities, Culture and Transportation,
Yes.
their office, and we have an email address as well that
Okay.
people can send in their written submissions to.
So this process that you all are doing is to collect information on what you all on making a policy,
Yes.
and not necessarily to invoke a policy that has already been made. So it's something collaborative between both islands, and you all are planning to make. All right. Now I'm understanding where we are going here. What are some of the topics that you all will be discussing this afternoon?
Sure. So, firstly, what do people think should be in the policy? What are some of the areas that people think should be considered in such a policy when it comes to statues, monuments, signage? What should be the criteria for erecting statues, signage, and monuments? Are there statue signage and monuments that people think should be replaced, should be removed, and what should be done with them? And are there suggestions and recommendations for new statues, for new signs, for new monuments?
Okay. What is the process like? So, it's been established since 2022. So I'm guessing that you all have been, actively doing the work within the committee. What is the process like in terms of, let's say I go to a street and the street's name is Bamboo Patch for whatever reason, right? And I don't think that should be the name of the street. And I have a suggestion as to what we should name the street. What's the process like in changing that name, or what is the process like in bringing a suggestion to the name of a street?
We could only do a suggestion from you.
Right.
We are not responsible for changing. What we do is to make a recommendation based on the information that has been fed to us. So we can say that 14 people object to Bamboo Street, or object to the way the name was arrived at, right? And if you don't know how the name was arrived at, and that's what you want to know. But we can't give you that information. We can only solicit from members of the public what their views are about selecting names for streets,
Yes.
and for recognition of people as iconic figures whose names should be put on streets or public buildings. We could only ask, and we could only record what people have told us.
Okay.
So we can't guarantee anyone that the name would be changed. But what we can do is to suggest in our recommendations that A, B, C, D, E, as raised by people, be considered in determining street names.
Right. And I want to just throw in there, what I'm seeing is that historians such as yourself, if they are present in Tobago, they should come out for this consultation. Because, if it is that we need to look at the history and why we should name a street, or what policies we think should be put in place to be naming streets, historians, those who know the backstory of whatever, they should be there present as well. So I'm guessing that those are the people that you all are looking for this afternoon.
We are looking for everyone.
All right.
Exactly.
So everyone is invited to this event
Everyone.
for 5 o'clock at the Scarborough Library's AV room. Okay. Why should the public take a personal interest in this? Yes, some might start, Natalya, that is an obvious answer, it's an island, but why should the public really take a personal interest in the session this afternoon?
Because people have been complaining, people have been protesting, people have been objecting to certain figures, and that has stimulated a need to review the whole process. There have been letters, strong letters, there have been threats to go to court and all, so that this is an avenue for people to give expression to their objections desires even, and we could then record those and put those as part of, sorry, not as part of, but in the formulation of our recommendations.
Okay.
And to take it from a different perspective as well inside it too, it is a chance for the people of Trinidad and Tobago to take greater ownership in shaping the national identity, in creating the spaces that we want to see, in shaping how we represent things, how we tell ourselves to the world, how we showcase ourselves to the world. Street signs are important. Street signs are probably the most common things in a space that people reference.
Right.
So who do you want to see recognized through street signs, or what do you want to see recognized through street signs? Statues and monuments are how we recognize and celebrate people and celebrate who we are as, not just as a country, but as spaces, as communities within that country. So what do we want to see in the different communities? Because different communities are all unique. Across Trinidad, across Tobago, varied uniqueness in all of the different spaces. So what do the people in these spaces want to see when it comes to these things? And how should we go about doing it? Coming back to your previous question about the process. So we're looking at a policy, we're looking at the guidelines of what we want to see. The process is managed differently across the different spaces. In Trinidad, the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, the municipal corporations are the ones who manage the process. In Tobago, it is the THA. For signs, it's through the Division of Infrastructure. So the processes happen differently in different spaces, as we've been seeing. And what we want is for the people, just like yourself, just like everybody looking at, to say, well, when it comes to our space, when it comes to Tobago, when it comes to Princeton, when it comes to Mayaro, when it comes to Rio Claro, when it comes to the country,
Yes.
this is what we want to see, because we believe it should be this way.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm seeing that we should be invested because this is our space.
It is.
It is our space. So how old do these signs have to be where I could put in a complaint? Because I remember social media was a buzz, and I think you know where I'm going with this. They were a buzz on a certain emblem and a certain sailor of the seas back then, right? On certain,
You're a diplomat.
yes, on certain factors that were on certain emblems that we do own. So how does one now go ahead in filing that complaint, and how is something big like that fixed? Because we do have significant monuments everywhere on both islands.
Yeah, but it fits.
Yes.
It fits because the public does not always agree with, accept. And so we want public participation, public recognition of the importance of street signs. And if you take a quick survey around, and people don't even know. Some people don't know why the signs are there. They don't know where the signs are. They pay no attention. And other people are very strong on with their sentiments about particular ones. And therefore, we want to encourage people to let them know that they have a role. I mean, they're not just there to vote, every 5 years or whatever. They're there to take active part in all the processes that constitute who we are.
Okay. All right. So we recently renamed our roundabouts. So I'm assuming that if any member of the public is not happy with those names, they can contest it this afternoon, or they can bring, their complaints or file their complaints with the committee.
They can record their views.
Yeah, so a few things so what is going to come out from the work of the committee? One, a policy recommendation on how we should go about, or what should be considered with the placement of statue signs and monuments. That is primary. We'll do a report identifying all of our findings, and what we really want to include inside that report is the views of people when it comes to certain statue signs and monuments. So what do they think should be removed? So everything that is recommended to be removed and the justifications for it, we'll document that. Everything that is recommended to be established, we'll we'll document that, so that it's presented in a comprehensive way that allows a reference point for decisions going forward. And then we're also going to be including in that report connections to other things that are showing up in the consultation. Because like you rightly said, there are so many things around us that are connected to statues, signs, and monuments. They may not directly be statues, signs, and monuments, but it connects it and it feeds into it. And we're seeing that showing up quite a bit. Things like education, things like understanding our history, things like communication around things like using technology and how do we connect our representations of statues, signs, monuments in the digital spaces. How do we showcase ourselves through these things to the world? How do we attract people to our shores through these things? How do we celebrate ourselves? So there are a few different things that are going to come out from this. We aren't going to be the entity that is changing anything. We will be the entity that is collecting all of the views and opinions and the rationales and the beliefs of the people and presenting it in a clear, comprehensive way for the decision makers.
Okay. So should I want to know the process, as you mentioned, that the public should know, me and Natalya wanting to know the process of naming my street Natalya Street. What time do I get ready to come to this event? And where should I come and position myself to be in this event this afternoon?
5 o'clock
Yes.
up to 7 o'clock, 2 hours of talk. The Scarborough Library, AV room.
Yes.
And we listen to everybody. We are all ears. This is
So you're going to listen to everything that I have to say.
Everything that you have to say, all your sentiments are very welcome. That will be part of our process. We would handle the processing, but we are not changing anything. We are making recommendations for a policy.
And should I need any additional information on the criteria being presented at this afternoon's event, where can I find more information?
Sure. So, in addition to the consultation, there will be a live stream. The live stream will be on Tobago Channel 5. Is that what our live stream is? On Tobago Channel 5, our live stream. So on the social media pages. The question was more information about
the criteria being presented.
Sure.
Yes.
So the committee's Facebook page, Committee to Review the Placement of Statues, Signs, and Monuments, has the information up about the points that we're looking at discussing in today's session. There's also the email address where people can request more information or submit things. So if you have a document put together for Natalya Street already with your 20-page justification that you've been working with Natalya, send it to us at committeeonmonuments@gov.tt. And via the Facebook page, there are links to an online form. So it's very simple for people to go and just upload their information, because people have been doing a lot of work of it. We have received over 200 written submissions right now. We have received thousands of pages of research and justifications and recommendations on this topic, because it's clear that people are passionate about it and people want to see ourselves. They want to see the people who've shaped their histories. They want to see the people who represent them. They want to see the values and the ideals and what we see of ourselves as our best and what we want to present for the future generations in our spaces. So submit all of those things to us. Come to the consultation, join in online, and have your say in what our spaces should look like.
Yeah, and we see that there is a strong interest in participating, and that's what we like. We want more voices to make themselves heard.
That's the way how Tobago would have a voice in the entire policy making itself. We have to speak out. We have to come and we have to share views. We have to share wants or needs, and those things will be addressed this afternoon. As you said, everything will be answered. Yes. Right.
Well, we aren't providing the answers. We're giving
we are recording
a chance
to say
what they want.
Okay. Yes. All right. Members of the public, for all of our viewers who stayed with us to see GMT this morning, you are all invited to the public consultation on the review of the placement of statutes, monuments, and signages in Trinidad and Tobago this afternoon from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Scarborough Library's AV room. Please get prepared and walk with your documents if you have any, right? Thank you so much, Dr. Pemberton and Mr. Arjoon, for joining us this morning here on Good Morning Tobago. members of the public and to our viewers here on Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on Amplia. We are heading right over. We are switching some gears. I know you saw a ship in our harbor this morning, and we are going to go and we are looking forward to the opening of that, and we have it live here from Tobago Updates. So stay tuned, and I encourage you all to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Strong and